Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to look at 7 fundamentals of fast bowling or pace bowling, however we want to look at. Okay. First one we're going to look up is run up. All right, we're going to keep it pretty simple. I know we've put a lot of equipment out, okay, but we're going to try and keep it fairly simple. Run ups need to be aligned, natural, and rhythmical. Okay, so we've mentioned a couple of those words already. So aligned means we need to have it aligned to the pitch. We need to be running towards the target. We need all of our energy going that way to be able to generate as much speed as possible. Okay, so that's what we mean by aligned. So for our alignment, we've got set up a myriad of cones. Our white line goes all the way down the line of the stumps. Our yellow line does open out ever so slightly. Okay, we will explain why a little bit later. But we want our run-ups to be somewhere within that fairly narrow corridor. We want to be aligned all the way through to our target, which is our stumps down the far. Okay, natural. Okay, so should be relaxed. Should be your natural rhythm. Okay, everyone's got different heights, different stride patterns, things like that. It just needs to be natural, not forced. Not I've got to put that foot down and then I've got to put that foot that much further away. Yeah, it's just about running. That's why we did just some running without a bowling action in the middle. Okay. And then we spoke about rhythmical. It's got to build up in speed. It's got to accelerate, and it's got to be repeatable. Okay, so the rhythm helps something to be repeatable, and we'll mention some tips for that as we get going. Okay, so grab yourselves a cone out of this pack. Mark out where you think your run-ups are going to be based off your bowling at the moment, and we'll see whether we want to make any changes to that. Okay? Rather than getting a tape measure out, which what the pros do, why is that better for you guys?
Because you know what your step size is.
Potentially. When does your step size change? When you grow. Yeah? So you guys are obviously going through growth spurts here, there and everywhere. Yeah? So if you're an inch, not an inch, but if you're a few millimetres taller than you were last week, and you've tape measured your run up, that's not going to be right anymore because you're taller.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So if you measure it out using your steps, it's always going to be balanced to your stride length. Yeah. The trick is keeping your stride pattern and your rhythm. So cool. Do you think about the alignment when you mark your run ups out? No. So you go. So yours is there. Yours is pretty much aligned to the middle of the crease. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yours is a little bit wider. Is that intentional?
Yeah. I like to sort of angle my run up in.
Okay. Cool. Right. Let's have a go. Let's have a look at your run-ups then. Right, so Joe, stay there. Trust me. Close your eyes. Listen to his run-up. Tell us what you notice.
Is that alright?
Okay, which is the bound. Okay, that's when it's aerial. He's getting in a position. What did you notice about the footsteps up to that point? They get faster. Yeah. So there is an attempt to accelerate. They also get faster because they get shorter.
Yeah.
So you've got a longer stride, and then the stride gets shorter as it gets quicker, and it gets a bit pat, 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 pat.
Yeah.
And then we get into the bound. Obviously, if that becomes more extreme, that's then when we start to get stuttery, shuffling movements. If we let that pattern get too extreme. Okay. So it's about trying to keep the stride length the same, but also still accelerating at that point. All right. Yeah. So take it back that much.
Yeah.
Take it back a metre.
Yeah.
And try and keep the stride length the same and still accelerate.
Okay.
So stay there, Joe. You're still our gauge. So nice long strides, still accelerate.
Okay. So, Boris, keep one hand running in. Start. Okay, I can tell. I can tell.
Still a no ball, but the strides were longer in the acceleration period.
Yeah.
Okay. would say, Joe,
Yeah.
keep going longer. Don't decelerate so quickly. Carry a little bit more momentum with you. Good on the strides.
Was that an overall as well? I brought it back about
You must have put an extra 2 steps in then.
You want me to move that net out of the way?
Yeah, great through the crease, bit more speed. You should end up by Brian.
Okay.
Yeah, get to Brian by the time you stop. Take more time to decelerate. Sounded better.
Yeah.
So we just looked at run-ups. The next bit we need to look at is the gather. Okay, are you familiar with what we mean by gather?
No, not really.
No? Okay. So the gather is when we start getting our body aligned, when we start getting sideways on, if we're bowling into a side up or sideways on position, when we start getting our arms moving, getting into that position there. Okay. So Joe, that one's for you because that's cold sauce. So I'll just keep this one. So the gather position, okay, is when we start to get the arms ready, when we start to get upright, we start to move from a running position into a bowling position, and they're very different biomechanically. Okay. What we want to see is when we gather, hands come up somewhere near the face, okay, the exact alignment will come onto, okay, but hands somewhere near the face, and from there we then start the circle pattern. So front bowling arm goes out towards the target, other arm makes the big root round into our bowling shape. Okay, so we're just going to do a little bit of a practice on that. So to isolate the lower body, we're going to do this from a kneeling position. We're not going to do this for long in here because we're all in shorts and this is spiky. But start off in that gather position. So bring the hands up. From there, I then should be able to bowl through into the netting. So get that nice upright, high in the upper body, hands up in front of the face, and then sequencing round through into the net. Happy? Good. Yeah, nice Joe, good sequencing. Yeah, good shape. So
Oh, I dropped.
oh, just folded that immaculate haircut. Oh no, poked me in the ear. So we've dealt with run up, dealt with gather. Next bit is the bound. Okay, so the bound is when we get into an aerial position. Okay, it's not jumping up in the air. Okay, really important point that we need to make sure we're doing with the bound is ensuring the energy is still travelling forward, still going towards our target. Okay, so although we are jumping in the air, we are getting aerial, we still want everything to be aligned, energy going towards the target. Okay, so we've got a couple of hurdles to set up. We're just going to be bowling from a few paces back. Okay, but what you're obviously looking to do is to get aerial after that hurdle, land in the middle, and then the delivery stride then goes over the top of the hurdle that's in the middle of the crease. Okay, so jump, bound over that one, back foot contact, front foot contact, hurdles in between.
Very good.
Respectable.
Brilliant. And that's perfect. Next thing is back foot contact. Okay, very simply, it's when your back foot hits the ground. Okay, back foot contact is a really important marker because what that's going to do is that's going to set how we need to get our body aligned. Okay, back foot contact should always be natural. So wherever your back foot lands is how it lands. Okay, it's really difficult to change the alignment of your back foot. Okay, but that back foot position is going to be what's going to get our hips aligned. Then we need to make sure that our shoulders are aligned to it. Okay, so we're going to check that in a second, then we're going to move on to this. So drill that we're going to do once we know our back foot alignment, get the back foot into position. Okay, so for me, I'm pretty much parallel to the crease. Balance up on the wobble pad, hold it for as long as you can. Front foot then lands and goes through. Okay, the back foot position, that back foot contact position is all about stability. So when that foot lands, it's got your whole body weight on it, plus all the energy you've generated in your run up. You've got to keep that energy stable in that moment so that you can then propel it forwards using all of that momentum and that energy. Okay, so stability in this position. And then bowl through from there. Okay, happy?
Yep.
Cool.
So,
Yep, hands in front of your face. Cross that. So back foot alignment. Okay, so we're going to go from parallel to the crease all the way through till pointing down the pitch, and we'll mention what that does towards the upper body. Okay, you guys both in that 45-degree position. Okay, so you're going to be looking for exactly the same thing. So the back foot lands parallel to the crease. I want to make sure that my non-bowling arm is inside the line of my eyes. So I'm looking over the top of my arm towards my target. This is out towards fine leg sort of position. Okay, that is going to align my hips, my shoulders to my hips when that back foot is parallel. Back foot goes to 45 degrees, which is where you guys are both bowling from. Now I want to get that face up in front, the arm up in front of my face. Okay, so I am looking through that arm. Obviously, you know you've got two eyes, so you end up looking around it both sides. But I'm looking through that arm out towards the target. That is going to again align my shoulders to my hips when I'm in that position. If you ever see a bowler that's completely front on, so the one is pointing down the pitch, their lead arm needs to be outside the line of their head so that their chest is pointing directly towards target. Make sense?
Yep.
Cool. So, on your wobble pad, make sure you set up with back foot pointing 45 degrees, because we know that's what you do when you bowl. Okay? Check that position, hold it as long as you can, then bowl through. I'll have a look at that alignment from down the far end. Okay, so last bit in terms of where we're dealing with the stuff that happens in the crease, so the delivery stride stuff. Okay, we've spoken a lot about alignment, getting the shoulders aligned to the hips, that's preventing injury, maximising force, stuff like that. Okay. We're actually going to look at how the feet are aligned with each other. All right. Now the ideal points of contact we want, back foot lands. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use these white lines that we've got here in this net for our guidance. So my heel is roughly on this line off stump for the batter that's there. So I want my front foot to also be on that line. Okay, so we're looking to align the front foot with the heel of the back foot. Does that make sense? So if the front foot's obviously over here, then I'm crossed over, I'm too closed off. If the front foot's over there, I'm getting too open, it's going to be too slingy, bowl a lot of offside wides. So back foot lands, try and get your heel to land on that line, and then the front foot then also wants to land on the same line. Okay? start there and go, I know my heel is on this line. And from there we just bowl, look to get the front foot in the face. Okay, so don't step into it, don't walk into it. Start with the heel in the right place. Okay, so dealt with back foot contact. Next thing obviously to do with is front foot contact. Okay, there's a lot of talk in the media now about this brace front leg. You heard them talking about that? Yeah. Particularly when concerned towards fast bowling. Okay, so that's what we're going to have a look at, that front foot contact position. All right. So the reason the step is here, it's going to act similarly to how the wobble ball did. It's going to have us a little bit elevated. Again, we're going to get into a position where I'll go to your alignment. So we've got aligned with the back foot. From here, I want to step down. Now, my leg is landing in a fairly braced position. Okay, braced does not mean straight. Okay, if you lock the knee out, that you're in danger of causing all sorts of different injuries. Okay, so braced is a stable position. There is an ever so slight bend in my knee. It's a strong position. What it isn't is collapsed. Okay, which is when the hip drops, body weight dips in. Okay, so the feeling, the sensation we're looking for, the step helps show us this. So from here, I want to land, try and keep that leg braced, not knee locked out. The sensation we want to look for is pulling the foot towards the heel of your shoe. Okay, so we're pulling the foot backwards within the heel of the shoe. What that does is that straightens out my leg. So if I push my toes into the front of my shoe, end up bending the knee, shifting my weight forwards. The sensation we want, having the foot sliding into the back of the heel, that's what then gives us that nice braced straight front leg. Happy?
Yeah.
Cool. Right, we've built a lot of technical stuff build up. Okay, the last bit is we're going to work on arms. Okay, we've done a lot of lower body positions. Okay, last bit we need to factor in arm side of things. Okay, so what we look for once feet have landed, we're looking for maximum extension. Okay, and we're looking for something called the X factor. Okay, the X factor is the relationship between your hips and your shoulders and the amount of energy that your body can coil and then release, and that's what generates the speed. Okay, so we're looking for the arm to be extended nice and far behind you, okay, but not get to a position where the arm gets too far tucked behind the body. I struggle to do it, I'm not flexible enough. But if the arm gets too far behind, the only way the arm is able to deliver the ball is by bending and straightening to be able to get that ball back towards the target. Okay, so if the arm gets too far behind the body, from looking at front on, if it disappears behind the body, then when it starts to come over, I can't physically rotate like that. The only way I can release the pressure in my shoulder is to bend my arm and then accelerate towards the target, and that's what then straightens it again. Okay, so we're looking for a position where the arm is in line, as far away as possible, creating maximum stretch, and from there we should be able to bowl through. So what we're going to do is we're going to bowl with the netting as close to us as we think we can. Okay, so just step into a couple of steps. So from here, I should be able to bowl through there. I haven't even brushed it. Yeah, and I'm right up against that netting. Okay, we're going to do a few from this side. So that's checking the bowling arm position. So again, get as close to the netting as you can without making contact. Then we're going to swap over. We're going to bowl the other way through. We're checking this time the non-bowling side. Again, should be able to bowl nice and upright, and that arm is not going to catch that side netting. Get as close as you can. Okay? Happy? Yeah. Have a go. Right screen. Close as you dare. You can start a little bit further away if you don't want to get your finger stuck. Or you can go right up close from the beginning. Just getting a sensation for having that restriction. Easy enough?
Yeah.
More width. Cool. Happy enough?
Yeah.
Looks good. So this is the one, Joe, that I think might be a bit more of a challenge. That smile says, yes, coach. I felt my head hit it. Good one.